a zombie with a big-ass bright film light, and he would, like, blind you with it.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that on YouTube, and I yesterday I just typed in George Romero, into YouTube to see what kind of tributes came up, and fucking it was all these Call of Duty things. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So. Oh,
it was so great. They used voiceovers, like the actual actors. Like, I played as Robert Engel whenever I got the chance, and he's facing George in this one spot. He's like, well, this seems like an action sequence. Can I take my shirt off? I was like, Robert Engel, you would say some shit like that.
Hey, he's supposed to be at Scarefest in September, Blake. We're going to probably go see him.
Who, Robert?
Yeah, they've got a Nightmare on Elm Street reunion, except Nancy's not there.
Yeah, a bunch of my friends in the film Lisa asked me if I was going to go. I was like, no, probably not. I mean, I got so much going on here, and I just saw her, just went and, kicked it with her, and then kicked it with Robert, and Robert actually got a copy of my book, so he was, and then I brought him the DVD of his parents. You guys should have seen that. He was loving it. His parents visited him on set during Nightmare 4 while he's all plastered up on the wall, getting ready to have the souls ripped out of him, and they're like saying, hey, Robbie, we'll be waiting on you so we can go out to dinner, and it's cute. But, anyway, back to Mr. Romero.
Hey, so when it's all said and done, I mean, well, okay, I'll get into that in a minute. Did you guys see the billboard that they put? I sent Vic a picture. I don't know if you saw it. The billboard they put in Pittsburgh, for Romero?
I did see it. Yes.
That was fucking cool. I wish they would do shit like that. I wish they had done that for Craven, but, what's funny, though? Not only is Romero, like, a zombie guy, but, like, he represents Pittsburgh, too. These other guys, I mean, they don't have, like, an entire area devoted to them. I mean, because Romero was all about Pittsburgh in his movies, the early ones at least.
Budget. You had to shoot where you could go,
Mm-hmm.
So for sure.
I want one of those shirts that they got for being in Dawn of the Dead, for being a zombie. That was like their only pay, but I would have fucking took it. I wish I still had, I wish I had one. It's fucking awesome. It's kind of like Vic. I always told Vic I wanted a No Tears for the Clown shirt that they were wearing outside Gacy's execution. And to this day, I still want one.
Me too.
I want one of those Fry Teddy shirts, too.
Oh, speaking of, guys, I just read and finished one of my wife's books called Devil in the White City. It's about H.H. Holmes.
Yes, by Eric Larson.
Oh, my God, it was amazing. I loved it.
Have you watched American Ripper yet?
No, not yet. Like I said, man, you wouldn't believe it.
It's okay. Let me throw out some cheap plugs real quick before we get back into Romero. Well, right. American Ripper comes on History Channel. I watched the first episode on demand on Sling last week. Before that show came on, we had one of the guests that's on the show, on our show, Ray Johnson, yes.
Yeah.
And what's funny, though, is, and of course you know Ray Johnson, too, but we did an H.H. Holmes show with all the guys on that show before that show ever aired. We're talking like 4 years ago now, which tells you how long we've been doing this shit. Far too long. But we had Jeff Mudgett, we had Adam Seltzer, and we had Ray Johnson on that very show about H.H. Holmes, which you can listen to, travinvickhorror.wordpress.com, Serial Killer Archives, all that shit. It was our first serial killer episode, but it's awesome to see all of them on that show now. And it just kind of tells you how far we've come, and them too.
Hey, Travis, you know what's funny? Earlier today, I was looking on Facebook. I found out that Mark Potts actually had a segment on there that they cut in the final edit. It was him and Mudgett. Him and Mudgett were discussing something on there or whatever. But it didn't make the final cut. So there was another guest we had that was on there. Yeah.
I hit up the chick. She didn't respond to me.
She's never mind. Maybe we should hit up Mudgett. Maybe he can get her on.
Maybe. Not today, that's for sure, because that fella's busy.
As long as he's not like Hollywood, He might. Ray Johnson will do it. That's all that really matters.
Ray Johnson's the man. We had Ray on last week talking about the Starved Rock murders. Blake, I'm sure you saw our plugs, but do you know what the Starved Rock murders were?
I do, yeah, and I did follow the stuff and followed some news articles and stuff on it. But that was a great show. Yeah.
And I will be talking to a guy who did a documentary about the Starved Rock murders on Sunday. God knows when I'll upload it, but I'll do it. I'll talk to the guy, and we'll see what he has to say. Because I just like talking about the Starved Rock murders. They're just interesting to me. I don't know why. Seems pretty obvious what happened, but I can't help it. I like murder. What can I say? Speaking of, we'll go back to the zombie father or the Deadfather, whatever you want to call him. So, Blake, you have kids. One day they're going to ask you about Romero. What are you going to tell them?
That if they want to continue living in my house, they're going to have to sit down and watch at least Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Creep Show.
That's a good rule.
Awesome.
That's a good rule. You better make them watch. Nah, never mind. They'll start cussing if they watch Day of the Dead. They'll be like, I'm running this monkey farm, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time. Joe Pilato's a national treasure.
I'll wait till they're older. They've actually seen my oldest has actually seen bits and pieces of I think it was Creep Show with the troll in the wall with no, that was Cat's Eye. Never mind. I got them confused. The anthologies all hit around the same time, but they haven't seen Creep Show, but they've seen Cat's Eye.
I remember watching Creep Show with my wife, who hadn't seen a lot. Vic knows she was sheltered as a kid, but she liked Creep Show a lot.
Oh, I'm going to tell you congratulations on the news about the upcoming what is it? Yeah, so the
third Desmond fifth child.
Well, my wife asked me
if
you had more kids. She had forgotten how many you had, and then I got confused.
I have 2 children and 2 stepchildren, so technically I have 4, and I'll have one more, and that'd be 5. So, yeah. The boys are my stepsons. Not that I treat them any different, but
yeah, right.
Wait, you can't say that because the other 2 are girls, and I'm just kind of like chauvinist. That you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. I'm sure if you have a son, you'll be his. That's all the time too.
My wife,
that's what I'm talking about.
Travis, my wife says she's pulling it's a boy. My wife believes it's a boy.
I hope it's a boy. My wife thinks it is too. I think a little bit. My world won't end. It's really weird, fellas. Like I've told Vic this before too. I'm kind of scared to have a boy because I'm an asshole, especially towards boys. I expect them to act a certain way, and I don't jive with this new generation of parenting that they have. I'm not saying I'm going to kick the shit out of them or anything, but like I don't know. There's certain things that just don't fly with me that it does with other people.
New generation parenting, they want to be their kids' friends. You can be my friend when you're 18 or 21 and you know how to act.
Throw your ass out a window if you talk back to me. But like with the girls, it's easy because I know how to be sensitive to a girl. But with a boy, I don't want to be sensitive. Man up. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm fearful that I'll have a boy. Like, but at the same time, I do want a boy. So. But obviously, I'm good with girls, so it's whatever. You know what I mean?
She got 2 boy stepchildren, don't she? You've managed to not kill either one of them. You'll do fine. Don't worry about it.
I know, but when I kick their ass, I feel like a bigger asshole. You know?
Well, you are. I mean? That's okay. You know?
Yeah, I know, but they're okay with it. So as long as they're okay with it, and they haven't killed anybody, or whatever. So it's all good.
There you go. See, perfect.
And one of them goes to horror conventions with us. So.
Now you've raised them right there. You should feel like you've succeeded. Then, if that's happening, that's good father-son bonding time right there, man.
Yeah, because it sure didn't come from the other loser.
Oh my!
Not that he's not a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I'm not saying he's not. He's just not into. Yeah, there you go. A little bit.
I had to clear my throat. My bad.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So, Blake. Since you're on here, and we were talking about Romero, next week we're talking about like a subject that you're probably very familiar with, and it just brings me back to the Albert Fish episode. And the invitation is open for you to join us if you like. It's from the same area of the world as Albert Fish, and I'm talking about David Berkowitz. We're going to do Son of Sam next week.
Fantastic!
Which is a long time coming.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I've seen everybody else covered but him, and then a couple of other ones. I missed Kemper. That was kind of unfortunate. But
well, Kemper was all right. I think it really boils down to what guest you get. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anybody for Son of Sam, but you know, it'd be nice to talk to some other people that know about Son of Sam. And the thing about Berkowitz is, we had a guy who's like, he visited Richard Ramirez in jail. This guy's interesting. He's met a bunch of people on death row and stuff. And he was talking about how when he met Ramirez, he said that Berkowitz was a sellout because, you know, he decided to go all Christian and everything. And and Ramirez kind of gave him a look like, yeah, he's a sellout. You know what I mean? Because Ramirez is all Satanist and everything, or at least claimed to be. I don't know if he actually was. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these guys claim to be Satanists, but they're just trying to freak people out. It's not really the same as being an actual Satanist.
Right. Yeah, I know some actual people that practice Satanism, and yeah, like that guy that I did the show with, Tex, when I did the YouTube appearance via whatever, he's a Satanist. Yeah.
I'm confused by William Harder. He's a Satanist, but he's like a vegan. It's so confusing to me. I realize that Satanists have their certain beliefs and stuff. It's just odd. It's just odd to see. I don't know.
What day is the show for Berkowitz?
Next Tuesday.
We'll see what's in my schedule. Like I said, I got another convention trying to get me to go. And like I said, I'm kind of burnt out on going to convention. You know, like the traveling is kind of killing me a little bit.
Yeah, especially when you have kids.
Yeah, it was hard. The last one I was gone almost a week, and it was fun, to go do all the stuff, and like get to be part of the, and all that. But I got mobbed inside a Subway by a bunch of people, and I had to actually get the guy that organized the convention to run interference so I could get back to the hotel room. So it was creepy. It just kind of scared me a little because people, rabid is not what you think of. When you think of rabid, you think animals. People say rabid fans. There were some rabid people. I'm just saying. I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. Security guys were involved too. Like some of them were trying to like get everything stopped, and it's Vegas, man. That city never sleeps. It never rests. It's like New York.
So I was going to ask Vic the same thing I asked you. Vic, you have a nephew. He asked you about Romero. What do you say? What do you point him to? What's the first thing you tell him about Romero?
Well, since he's already a big Walking Dead fan, I would tell him that he needs to watch the originator of the zombies, I guess. And I would sit him down and I'd make him watch Night of the Living Dead. And actually, I think I might do that soon because, he's 11 now. He's good, perfect age to start watching real stuff and not bullshit TV shows. So I think we're going to watch it soon now. I'll let you know the outcome.
I think I fear for him slightly because he's so used to these awesome effects, which I'll give, Walking Dead props on that. And I'm afraid of what he'll think of that. But, and in terms of my own stepsons, because the girls, I don't even know where to go with them as far as zombies go. You know what I'm saying? But with the boys, Connor knew who Romero was, the older one, the 13-year-old. And I was like, there would be no zombies in what we think of zombies without Romero. You can tell me all these other people what they've done, blah, blah, blah. But to me, since 1968, none of this shit would have gone down in the way that it went down without Romero. And, and honestly, horror, I think one of the reasons that horror actually has a chance right now is because of, even though I don't enjoy it anymore, Walking Dead. It exists, and so there's something out there. And then you get shows like American Horror Story that, kind of fall in line with the idea that, okay, if one horror genre show works, maybe another will. Then we get Bates Motel, things like that. And to me, that all goes back to Romero. And so that, if I had the chance to, I would thank him because in his own way, all this time later, it would have been nice if he could have lasted another year just to see the 50-year anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. But, almost 50 years later, that movie still has such an influence on horror. And to me, again, He is more influential to any subgenre. That means more than Carpenter to slashers. That means